Hi there and welcome to this video lesson. Today I want to show you why the main riff to Guns N' Roses' song Locomotive is a pretty difficult but fantastic exercise for your rhythm guitar. Locomotive is one of the longer songs from the Use Your Illusion albums, and with its almost 10 minutes of playing time and relatively progressive song structure, a real musical highlight of the band. Especially the catchy and fast-played main riff has always been one of my favorites and took me quite a lot of effort back when I was a beginner and tried to learn it. In this video I'll show you not only how you can play the main riff, but also how you create the signature sound for it. As always, I've also prepared a step-by-step guide for you that you can download as a free PDF when you click on the link in the video description or the first pinned comment. So let's jump right into the song. First, let's look at the tuning. As in pretty much all Guns N' Roses songs, Slash is once again tuned a half step down here. That means you tune your guitar to E flat tuning. But what is not mentioned at all in many YouTube tutorials of this song, however, is that to make it sound the way it should also play it with a wah-wah pedal as a filter. All of Slash's guitar in this song, the rhythm, the lead and the solos, were recorded with the same fixed wah-wah pedal setting. Just so you know, the wah-wah pedal can not only be used as a cool moving effect that almost makes the guitar talk, but when you lock it into a certain position and leave it in there, it can be used as a filter. Depending on where you set it, you get a bit more treble in your sound, which gives riffs on the low strings a little more clarity. This trick is not only used by Slash in some of his songs, but also by guitarists like Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, Dimebag Darrell from Pantera, and also Zakk Wylde from Ozzy Osbourne or Black Label Society. I also use the same effect in my own song time and time again to make the guitar sound a bit more distinctive. Let's listen to that for a moment. So that you really understand what I mean in this song example, I'll first play you the main riff without the effect, just with some distortion, and then afterwards with the fixed wah-wah pedal. If you want to recreate the sound yourself, you shouldn't set the wah-wah completely pressed down, but rather move it a few millimeters back upwards. You can see here in the second camera angle how I've set it up. Try it out at home. Depending on your wah pedal, the optimal setting might change a little. Just trust your ears here and compare your sound either with mine or directly with Slash's sound on the original recording. Now that we found our sound, let's go directly into the intro of the song. Because not only the main riff, which starts around the 33-second mark of the song, but also the intro is a wonderful exercise for syncopated playing. Even the very first bars, where we join in after the drum intro, should be counted very precisely. As you can see here in the tab, we start with a volume swell on the 12th fret of the G and B strings. That's a G major double stop. We strike this on beat 3 and then slowly swell it up. After that, on the 16th note before the 1, comes this A power chord, which rings into the next bar. If you still struggle with syncopated strumming, then check out my videos on the songs Riff Raff by AC/DC or Custard Pie by Led Zeppelin. In both songs I talk extensively about syncopation and give many practical examples. In Locomotive too we'll play many syncopated strums, but since explaining all of them individually would go beyond the scope of this video, I won't cover each one in detail. That means if you have timing difficulties with some of these riffs or accents, definitely check out those other videos again beforehand. In the next bar we play a pick scrape on beat number 2 and the slide from the 16th fret on beat number 3, and then once again the A power chord on the last 16th note before the 1. Before we get to the next couple notes, I'll now play this example up until the struck A power chord at 60 BPM so that you can understand it better. If you like, once you've managed this at 60 BPM on your own, you can also try playing along with the original recording on YouTube up to the next bar. On YouTube, you can now slow down or speed up videos under the settings however you like. I always recommend fully internalizing and being able to play the most difficult parts first before tackling the entire song at once. In the following bars of the intro, you already get a taste of the way Slash will later play the main riff. Here we switch back and forth between the A and low E strings and surround the A5 and F-sharp 5 power chords with really cool sounding single note riffs. If you still have a stereo system or listen to your music in a DAW with stereo speakers, you can try turning the balance knob all the way left and then all the way right during playback of the original recording to hear the differences between the rhythm and the lead guitar more clearly. We, as the ones learning the lead guitar parts, surround the chords A5 and F-sharp 5 with single notes. The rhythm guitar, which you can hear on the left side of the recording, limits itself to just the power chords. This creates a wonderful stereo panorama of guitars, which can also serve as inspiration for your own songs. I also often compose my songs this way when writing for two guitars. After a few bars of surrounding A5 and F-sharp 5, we then play from a G to an F-sharp to an E power chord and then stay on E for several bars leading into the main riff. Here too, Slash plays quite syncopated, which for some of you may take a while to get comfortable with. I'll now play you the entire intro very slowly at only 60 BPM. Now we finally get to the main riff. At 118 BPM played over several bars, this is a real endurance exercise. You can see here that we alternate between G and A on the low E string, and then the open A string, and after a short passage with a few E's and G's on the low E, we start the whole thing over again. We are striking constant 16th notes, which at 180 BPM, and in a song almost 10 minutes long, where this riff is played again and again, can become quite a strain on your right hand. That's why I recommend first mastering this riff very slowly and precisely, and only then gradually increasing the tempo so that you really train the necessary precision. Especially at the beginning, Slash also plays small variations to this riff every few bars on the lead guitar, which makes it even harder to get back into the main riff precisely in time. course, very important are the constant palm mutes on the low E string, while you let the open A string always ring unmuted. That is also the reason why Slash used this filter, because only then does the riff sound the way it does. Without the wah filter, the riff sound wouldn't be as defined. I'll now play you the main riff and the variation, which comes about every 4 bars, first at 60 BPM, afterwards I'll give you another example at 90 BPM, and finally one at the original tempo of 118 BPM. Please remember, a good strategy for your learning success would be to, as soon as you've learned the intro and the main riff with the help of this video, to also play it with the original recording too. But first slow it down to 0.5% speed and then gradually increase the tempo and maybe only play it to the first chorus along with the original recording. Once you've mastered these parts, both the chorus and the rest of the song won't be a problem anymore. That's it for this video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. Maybe also leave a comment and let me know what band or which song you'd like me to talk about next. And then I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.